Well, good afternoon. Welcome back to Preparing for the Claps here on YouTube. I am your host, Spirit Walker. You can call me Spirit. Today, we're going to be talking about harvesting and preserving spearmint plants. Now, I'm pretty sure you can see on the video we have quite a number of pots of spearmint on this table. Matter of fact, I think there's 9 pots. Yes, 9 pots, all small pots. I mean, this is a pretty good size for this spearmint plant, and it's doing really well. It's very vibrant and green and sturdy. However, we have a very large pot here. This is what we like to call our mother plant. We now have 2 mother plants, and I started with just 1 spearmint plant when I created all of this 2 years ago. That 1 spearmint plant after 2 years needs to be separated. It needs to be, well, it needs more room because the spearmint will stop growing if it doesn't have room. And if you don't grow this in pots, it's going to take over whatever area you have it growing in. But spearmint is such a wonderful tea. It is such a wonderful medicine. And this is the reason why we grow so much spearmint. Now, I propagated the roots of this mother plant right here back in the summertime. Okay? Whenever it started getting extremely bushy, that's when you want to do it after about 2 years, and then every 2 years you'll want to separate your roots and put those into different places, different pots, or you can give them away, you can sell them, you can trade them, or you can just compost them. But be aware, the mint family plants, they are hard to kill. Matter of fact, I can cut all of this foliage off of here, which you're going to see me do here in a moment, and then take only the roots. Leave them in this pot or put them into a garden somewhere, and it will grow a new spearmint plant, and it will spread. You can't really, it's very hard to kill this, and it grows through roots underground, okay? And this, I don't know if you can see this right here, but it's already doing it, and it's only been in this pot for a few months. But these are going to grow in circles and grow underneath the soil, and then it's going to make a bushier and bushier and bushier and bushier plant. So it needs to be controlled. But what we do here in the Skoolie, the Nomadic Express, we don't have a lot of room, and I do have more. Believe it or not, I have more spearmint plants in the Skoolie up on the dash. I actually even have another mother plant. We love spearmint, but we make medicine with spearmint, and we sell the medicine. You can buy the tincture over at nomadic-enterprises.com underneath our brand Bourbon Barrel Apothecary. We also sell it at our eBay store, Nomadic Enterprises. And you can order it directly from us through the links, and we make it for friends and family and ourselves. Now, we do sell dried spearmint leaf when we have enough, or trade it, but for the most part we make tinctures with our spearmint because this is a very good digestive ailment medicine. Now that means, and I'm going to say it's pretty much any mint family, but spearmint is one of the best ones, peppermint being probably the top dog out of all of them. But any kind of digestive system problem you have, I don't care what it is, diarrhea, constipation, upset stomach, indigestion, heartburn, you name it, even ulcer pain, the oil from these leaves will cool that down. It will get rid of a stomach ache like that. You can give the tea diluted to an infant, and it's that safe. So everybody can use spearmint in the form of a tincture or a tea, and it's just a really safe herb, and we just really love it. So what we do this year, and it's only every few years, like I said earlier, we had to propagate, we had to separate the roots of the mother plant, and I decided to create another mother plant because we use it so much, and we were making so many sales online with the tincture. The tincture we sell quite a bit of. So I have 2 mother plants that I am going to keep. I am not going to harvest it down for winter storage. But living in the Skoolie, the Nomadic Express does not have a whole lot of room. We are limited very much on space, counters, the dash, a table here and there maybe. But small pots, something like this, we can make room for. However, this is what I'm doing. I'm going to harvest all of this spearmint except for the mother plant. This is going to go into the skoolie. We're going to make room for this. All of this spearmint, to preserve it, you want to hang dry your spearmint. And there is a certain way you want to do it. And then it takes anywhere from 2 to 3 weeks, according to how warm you keep it, how good your airflow is, wherever you have it hang drying. I mean, you could dry it at a fast pace in a very low heated oven, say the lowest settings, door cracked, you know, on pans. You could do that for a speed dry. I prefer to hang dry this if I have time. Now, if I have a large order, yes, I'm going to probably dry this really fast and get it packaged up and get it sent out. But for us, for winter prep, we're going to harvest all of these plants, and we're going to take the soil and put it all in one location, and we store it underneath the bus through the winter time. And all of these pots, since we don't have room for it in the skoolie, we store the pots outdoors under the skoolie as well. So last night it got down to 32 degrees here in northern Arizona. It was our first freezing night. That signifies the end of our growing season. And even though this is cold hardy, spearmint is a very cold hardy plant. As you can see, it did not touch it. It is so sturdy, so green, so vibrant, very much alive. However, our tomato plants did not weather so well, and we harvested all of our green tomatoes this morning. Now we're going to have fried green tomatoes, and our tomato plants we've composted, and that soil in those pots will be stored. But this, you can choose to keep it outside through most of fall, or you can choose to harvest it as soon as the freeze shows up, because this can handle a little bit of freeze, but multiple nights on end, the spearmint is going to do two things: stop growing and eventually succumb to the freeze. But for now, it's okay. But I'm just going to make room. So all of this, I don't want to continue to water it. I don't want to continue to do maintenance on all of these plants because the growing season is over. So today, we're going to harvest that. Now, what you need is a good trusty pair of scissors, okay? And I hope that you can see. It's very bright out here today, which is wonderful, actually. We did have a very windy day. You're just going to snip this off as low as you can, just like that. You there? Now, that's step one. Okay, we have a very large bowl here, and I'm going to put it into here. I'm just going to collect my spearmint in this large bowl. I'm going to put it down here where you can't see it, and I'm just going to continue to cut off all of the tallest spearmint branches, okay? And cut it off as low as I can so that we can keep as much of our harvest as possible. Even these smaller pieces here, I'm going to cut those off because even though they're not going to be good when it comes to hang drying, because they're not going to bundle really well, what we can do is strip the leaves off of these little plants, put them onto a container like a saucer, large plate, or maybe an oven pan, and you can quick dry these leaves and put them into your airtight jar that it's going to be used for the rest of your spearmint, or you can simply let it dry like we do on top of our wood stove on a saucer that is lifted a little bit off the top of the stove so it doesn't burn, but the heat will dry it in a matter of hours. So these little pieces are definitely going to be used. We won't waste anything. Now, what I was talking about earlier, how spearmint likes to grow. This is a wonderful time to show you. Can you see that? All of those are runners. Right. And the runners is coming off the main plant, which was right here. These runners are underground, and they literally will spread around, and they will create even more spearmint plants. Like if you look here, this is a whole nother spearmint plant right there. And it will just start growing over here. And then there'll be one here and one here, and it will continue to spread. So, spearmint in all of the mint family is very good at taking care of itself. And I'm just pulling this out as much as I can to see exactly, wow, this has really spread quite a bit. Now, once you harvest everything that you want from your spearmint plants, you're going to hang dry this for the best result. And then you're going to need to do something with the roots. okay? The roots, because you want to keep the soil. Now, I could easily just leave the soil in these pots, and I could heavily mulch these roots, and this will start growing again in the springtime. But the only reason for us to do that is if we want to continue to have so much spearmint available. And what happened was, this is our second year growing spearmint, and every few years I said you want to separate your roots. Well, I have a major problem with separating the roots and then just tossing everything into the compost. So for me, I just said, well, I'm not going to kill it all. I'm going to literally put it in different pots and grow it. So my plan was to grow this until harvest time, and then I would not usually have this many spearmint plants. Even for ourselves and the tinctures that we make, we don't use this much spearmint. This is a very large amount of spearmint. So you can mulch this heavily, a couple inches of mulch, and you can wrap it in a blanket and you can store it outside through the winter time, and in the springtime it will just start growing again. But what we're going to do is harvest this, all of these, and then we're going to take the soil, we're going to clean all of the spent roots out of the soil. We're going to take the soil and combine all of our unused soil for the wintertime into one large bag that we have, and we're going to store it underneath of the skoolie until next spring. In our pots, we're going to stack together and store that under the skoolie as well until next spring. So, I said all that to say, this is how you harvest spearmint throughout the year, okay? If you want to keep it growing, you would just simply leave it alone, just like this, and it will continue to grow, and it grow the entire plant right back. So you do that, you harvest it like this throughout the year, but for us living in the Nomadic Express, we have to harvest this and make room. So all of these roots are going to be composted, or maybe a better idea would be to guerrilla garden your roots. Here in northern Arizona, we do not own the land that we park on. We park in national forest and whatnot, so we're not going to do that this time. I've been known to do a little bit of guerrilla gardening in my time. However, we are going to harvest this, and I'm going to show you now. I've got a good bit in here. This is a lot of spearmint, and there's more inside. Like I told you, I'm going to show you now how we prepare this to be hang dried in our skoolie. Those of you who live in a skoolie or have room, this is how you are going to do it as well. Alright, so I have here a saucer. The saucer I'm going to put leaves on, individual leaves. Because when you hang your spearmint plants, the bottom two leaves, okay, if there's not enough room to tie, which this could be enough room, but it's better if you take the bottom leaves off, just two leaves, and you have so much stem that you can use to wrap your twine or your string around. So I'm just going to take this and lay it here. I'm going to make a bundle. Now when you make your bundle, not only should you pull the bottom leaves off, little branches or whatnot, to make room to tie, but you want to make sure that your bundles are not too crowded. The reason for that is because if you crowd these, it's going to take so much longer to dry. You want to dry this as fast as possible. You don't want it hanging up there for no month or so. And if the two lower leaves are like this, these are yellowed, very yellowed. There's no reason to keep those. Okay. Alright, so we have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is a decent bundle, and it's according to how thick your branches are, but this is a pretty decent bundle. Just take a piece of string, tie around the bottom, make that tight, Now, in the Skoolie up front of the bus, we have a very good airflow. It gets nice and warm, but it does not freeze. Any kind of yellow leaves like this one, you want to take those off. Just discard those however you see fit. Hang this to dry, and then we're going to do multiple bundles just like this. Now, all of these leaves that is on this little plate here, like I said, we'll dry that as fast as we can, either in the oven on the lowest setting possible, or on top of our wood stove, whatever is practical at the time. That is one bundle. Now, if you see here, I cut this in a way that I should not have, because now I've got to separate these. This is a number of, you want individual stems. Okay, so now I have to separate this. So make sure that when you cut it, you don't do this. Okay, now once again, take off the bottom leaves. Make yourself a few bundles, tie them together, and there you go. Continue to do that until you have all of your spearmint harvested. I dropped one down here. Don't want to waste the awesome medicine. Now, the next step, get this out of the way real quick. Not a lot of room on these two tables out here. Okay, so now the roots. Now basically, like I said, I'm not keeping these roots. I don't have anybody to give these to. Trading is not going to be practical right now for something like this. And there's no reason to really keep it, because my two mother plants are going to make a large amount of roots. So I'm just going to take this out of the soil. It's not as easy as you might think, because the spearmint roots really grab deep. Okay, I'm going to take some of this dirt out, and we'll try and get all the roots out as I possibly can. Now there's one. Now it doesn't matter what it looks like. Even something like this will regrow an entire spearmint plant. It is literally so hard to kill the mint family plants. Any of the mint, peppermint, chocolate mint, yeah, lemon balm, Melissa, you name it. Wow, this has really got a lot of roots. I'm going to show you the root system of this one plant. Look at this. Look at this. This is one root system. Do you see all of those runners, all of those purple runners there, the pink maybe? These are growing underground to create more plants. If I took this entire thing and just planted it in the ground just like this, covered it completely with soil, mulched it heavy, in the springtime it would grow like crazy and it would spread. But like I said, we don't have private property. We don't have a homestead per se. Right now we are parked in the national forest, so we're not going to do that right now. And the rest of this soil, I'll clean all the roots out of here and what doesn't need to be, and I'm going to mix this soil with all the other soils and store it under the Skoolie for the winter time. And then come springtime, I will put the soil back into these pots and I will plant new seeds. And that is how you harvest your spearmint at the end of the season. And you dry it, and then you store it in a nice airtight sealed jar with a label on it. And you can make all the tea and tinctures that you want throughout all of winter and fall and into spring. And you don't have to buy pounds of dried herb from anywhere online. You grew it yourself. Pat yourself on the back. Thank you so much for being with us today here on Preparing for the Claps, learning how to harvest and preserve your spearmint. For our next video, I'm going to be showing you how to harvest and preserve borage. And the link to that video is going to be right down there in the description with the rest of our links. And thank you so much. If you've not subscribed, please help us out by subscribing. Hit the like button on the video. Maybe drop a comment to get the conversation started. And we look forward to seeing you again here on Preparing for the Claps. Have a wonderful day.